some hopes, some doubts, some fears, some, undecisive, like that, and also some excitement.
The Dalai Lama attended the first National Chinese People's Congress, which included 10 seats for the Tibetan delegation. He was impressed by Mao and felt a great affinity with many of the egalitarian principles of communism. However, at their last meeting, Mao wasted no time in giving his true opinion of Tibet and its future under Chinese rule. As the Dalai Lama left, Mao turned to him and said, "Religion is poison." The Dalai Lama returned home. News reached him that the Chinese authorities in eastern Tibet were confiscating lands belonging to monasteries and redistributing them amongst themselves. The situation deteriorated. Fighting broke out between the Chinese army and Tibetan freedom fighters, and refugees began pouring into Lhasa. In the midst of this tense atmosphere, the Dalai Lama still had to take his final monastic exams, the main focus of which were public debates.
Debate is a rigorous discussion of Buddha's teachings. Everything is challenged.
Debate is an ancient tradition within Buddhism, which is still practiced today, although the monks, and now nuns, are somewhat more vigorous in their style than they were in the 1950s. These monks are arguing over their personal interpretation of Buddhist texts. The skill is in arguing and using logic and your own analysis to back up your points. They are punctuated with claps to the hand. The respondent must then reply.
The culmination of the Dalai Lama's 18 years of study was an examination for a doctorate in Buddhist philosophy. It started with debates at 3 of the largest monasteries in Tibet.
Drepung Monastery had 10,000 resident monks. 8,000 of them were squeezed into the square to see the Dalai Lama as he arrived with his retinue to take his first exam. The monastery owned local estates and had some 20,000 tied peasants who worked the land and paid them taxes. The revenue paid for the prayer sessions and festivals which dominated monastic life. Feeding the monks for big events like the examinations was a huge, if somewhat rushed, process. The young monks run down from the cookhouse carrying huge tubs of sampa for their brethren who are sitting in the square. Sampa is roasted barley flour mixed with yak butter, tea or water to make dough. To celebrate His Holiness's presence, the monks are also given prayer scarves, tea and money. This was the first time that Dalai Lama would have debated in public and with the most experienced abbots in the monastery.
Oh, now this about top scholar, Mongolian, and also when he asked question very rapidly. Said. So a bit more nervous. So I had little opportunity to think how to trick to him. One top scholar, you see, very rapidly, you see, putting question, then no time, you see, how to pretend or how to defend like that. So now this is my turn, debate.
The next exam was at Sera Monastery. The whole of the Dalai Lama's government travelled with him. allowing him to consult with them about the growing tension in Lhasa. At the same time, he had to prepare for the next series of debates, but the abbots each had their own individual style of arguing.
In Sera Monastery, you see, when you debate with the opponent, good scholar, then their answer is something logical or something, you see, they valid, meaningful. In Sera Monastery, one abbot, not that much scholar, not that top. So you see, from my side, you see, the preparation, if answer come this way, yes, this is the way to argue. If this way, if answer has come this kind of answer, then yes, already prepared. And his answer, unexpected answer. So then my tutor noticed that, then he very kindly, stop, now finish. Okay. That's tremendous relief.
The last of preliminary exams was some distance from Lhasa, at Ganden Monastery. Ironically, the examinations at Ganden proved to be a brief period of respite for the Dalai Lama. Thousands more refugees had fled the fighting in the east and arrived in Lhasa. A huge number are now camped around the outskirts of the city.
Tensions with the occupying Chinese, who'd been in Tibet for about 9 years, were high. There were food shortages in Lhasa and rumours about massacres in eastern Tibet, and also rumours about the destruction of sacred sites. Meanwhile, the Dalai Lama still had his final exam to take.
The Dalai Lama returned to Lhasa and continued to prepare for his final exam. Amidst increasingly disturbing reports of Chinese atrocities, he attempted to concentrate on his studies. He took solace in Buddha's teachings that one's enemy is one's greatest teacher and to have compassion for all sentient beings. The final exam was arranged to take place at the same time as the Mulam New Year festival. There were 30,000 monks in the city, and pilgrims were arriving from all over Tibet. The Jokang temple was full to bursting. The cabinet, civil officials, and all the senior abbots and monks were present. As a junior monk official, Tenzing Chonyi Tara was in the audience.
On the one hand, the ordinary people and the aristocrats were all dressed up in their finest. On the other, right next door, the Chinese were making elaborate military preparations, with soldiers carrying rifles as if they might attack at any moment. Gun emplacements were built. There were Chinese carrying rifles, patrolling the rooftops opposite. Everyone, government officials, the clergy, the people, were there for the religious function of the 13th, but they saw clearly the Chinese soldiers walking around on the rooftops. It was unbelievable that these two extraordinary situations could be happening at the same time. The position between the Chinese and the Tibetans was becoming irreconcilable.
One aspect, the whole atmosphere is so tense. Many people actually felt whether this big gathering can take place or not, because it is so much tense. But then everything go very smoothly. So everybody very happy.
The Dalai Lama returned to the Norbalinka with his full retinue, but this time he was accompanied by armed guards. Little did he know that this 1,000-year-old ceremonial procession through Lhasa would be his last. The Chinese Governor-General of Tibet invited Dalai Lama to see a dance troupe at the Chinese military headquarters. In the name of dispensing with formality, the Chinese requested that he attend with unarmed bodyguards. Worried that a refusal would worsen the fragile situation, the Dalai Lama accepted, but the news soon spread. Thousands of people surrounded the palace, demanding that the Dalai Lama didn't go. Intelligence reports reached him that the Chinese were about to bomb the palace. Convinced that if he left, the people would be saved, the Dalai Lama decided he had